Welcome to the Global Rights for Women Now 2020. I'm Anne-Marie Allgrove, the APAC Global Co-Chair of Baker McKenzie's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. We're very proud here at Baker McKenzie to be the co-hosts of this year's event here in APAC. We've been a pro bono partner now for Global Rights for Women for over 3 years. Some of you will be familiar with their work, but for the benefit of others on this call, I wanted to share a little bit about their great work. Before I do so, however, there's one statistic that I need to share. It's a very sobering statistic. 600 million women live in countries without any domestic abuse laws. Global Rights for Women has set an ambitious mission to end violence against women and girls around the world. Their work with international partners focuses on legal and policy reform in relation to violence against women and girls, in identifying and changing what is stopping women from finding safety and trying to access the justice they all deserve. This is a daunting task, as you can imagine, and COVID-19 has not assisted. Support services have been sadly seeing an upsurge in violence against women and girls. Many women and girls still keep quiet about abuse just simply in order to survive. Today we'll be hearing from speakers about the great work done by Global Rights for Women to fight the good fight and to provide legal rights to all that deserve it. I hope you enjoy the next 45 minutes, and I do thank you for joining us today.
Hey y'all, welcome and thank you for joining me at Global Rights for Women Now. I'm Liz Winstead, I'm a comedian, co-creator of The Daily Show, and co-founder of the reproductive rights organization Abortion Access Front. I am so thrilled to be here tonight with all of you to talk about the amazing work that you guys are doing. And I feel like we've all been trapped in pandemic hell. I think it's safe to say hell. And I'm just finally coming out of it. I feel like I'm making slow but strong strides. Also, I put on lipstick and I've reintroduced myself to my shower. So those things are good, and I did it all because I wanted to be here today. And you, I know you're looking fancy. I can't see you, but I can see you. I think you're looking great. At least you're looking great from the waist up, like most of us. You don't know if I'm wearing pants. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's a mystery. We'll reveal it later. But you are incredible. You are here because you care. You're human rights leaders, legal professionals, advocates, activists, artists, musicians, and individuals from around the world. And today, this is so exciting. We are joined by over 1,000 individuals from 30 countries who are part of a community passionate about ending violence against women, and that is why we are here today. This year, around the world, we have experienced a pandemic within a pandemic. There have been double-digit increases in domestic and sexual violence against women and girls in most countries that have been experiencing a lockdown. Global Rights for Women works with groups around the country to help eliminate this kind of violence in our communities and around the world. And with your help today, we will raise $275,000. And we're already halfway there of reaching our goal. So every dollar of your donation goes to this effort to support women being safe, holding offenders accountable, and fighting for systemic change. You're going to hear from incredible women today. You're going to hear from Judge ROSEMARIE AQUILINA, who is best known for presiding over the USA Gymnastics sexual abuse case. And we have an exciting lineup of celebrity guests that you are not going to want to miss. So go anywhere. But first, it is my pleasure to introduce Global Rights for Women's Executive Director, Cheryl Thomas, a renowned human rights attorney and leader in the global movement to end violence against women and girls. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Liz.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
Well, I'm so happy that you're with us, and thank you all so much for being here with us today.
Tell me, what have you been hearing and what has your work been like on the ground with situations where women are trapped with their abusers?
Well, we knew immediately, right during the lockdown, the first lockdown of COVID, we knew immediately this would be a very dangerous time for women and girls. And we have learned from our partners around the world that there have been those double-digit increases, like you say. In Russia, for example, in March, there were 6,000 calls to the national hotline, over doubled in April to 13,000. In Mexico, where we also work with partners, they experienced a 80% increase in the number of calls to their national network of shelters. In Malawi, for example, so there's different kinds of exacerbation of this violence too. Malawi, they have a custom of child marriage, marrying off young girls. That has increased. Apparently parents thinking that their child will be safer, the family will be safer with that. So it's just been devastating and alarming to watch. And as you said, Liz, isolation is a tactic of controlling violent abusers to keep women controlled and subjugated. COVID is an insidious enabler of violent offenders with their use of these kinds of tactics. So even where we don't have the statistics that reports of violence are increasing, what we know is that women may not be able even to get out to a place where they can report. And for example, in Minnesota, just this week, we heard a story from a police officer where there aren't the statistics that show that increase. He talked about the increasing severity of the reports of violence he gets, calling them, and I'm quoting here, just as heinous as he's ever seen. Mm-hmm. So, all of that in the context of women being on the front lines where they are the caregivers, they are the nurses in the hospitals, they're the workers in the homes of the elderly. So they're disproportionately affected to begin with.
Well, and what I think is so crucial to remind folks who are with us today is you have created an incredible infrastructure already to help respond, right? And when we're looking at how do we help, what is, Global Rights for Women doing about this, you've already been doing. It didn't take a pandemic for your organization to figure out we need to help facilitate people in these situations to get out of them and hold people accountable. So tell me what you're doing now in this with this new layer of hardness that's going on.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for that. Our mission is laser focused on women's human right to be free from violence. And that was how we were founded. We're laser focused on that issue. As you said, violence against women was a pandemic long before this COVID pandemic. Violence against women as a human rights violation, though, that's a fabulous principle, but our work takes it to women's lives. That is only a principle. It's only a human rights principle unless you have solid, strong laws locally on the ground that women can access. And those people who are tasked with enforcing them have to be skilled. They have to understand the dynamics, how women can be isolated and shamed. So this is our work. Our model is partnerships. We have partnerships all around the world. You'll see them on the screen today. In Moldova, we work with the Women's Law Center. We have for a long time in India. We're going to be doing a training next week with our partner Swati, who's located in Ahmedabad. So we have partners all over the world that invite us to come and partner with them using our expertise and the expertise of our partners, prosecutors, judges, and lawyers to do what we call transformational trainings. So it's not only building the skills of the police officer, for example, to write a police report, or the prosecutor to prosecute in a case effectively. It's also to transform their thinking about women's subjugation that has been accepted so intensely globally and enforced through violence. So, actually when COVID happened, we adapted our trainings that we usually go in person. We adapted those, which we've wanted to do for a long time, to an online format. And this took some work and lots of conversations with our partners, but that's how we're adapting. And so far we've reached thousands of people from over 70 countries around the world.
Well, I'm so excited about it because, truth be told, as we have So many conversations around the pandemic and how it's affecting and who it's affecting. So often, the issues around women and girls, especially women and girls of color, because they are those who are affected the most, Black and brown women.
Exactly.
To be able to know that your work is centering those who are the most marginalized and the most affected by it, and those who are forgotten the most when we talk about the bigger picture. So
the
thank
most
you
vulnerable.
so much. That's right.
Thank you.
So incredible. So incredible.
Thank you, Liz.
I feel like I'm not doing a true RBG tribute, because what she deserves is me in a plank position reading this entire intro just as she would have done. She had a passion for human rights, and she was steady and strategic in her use of the law to achieve fairness in a world of discrimination. She inspires me and all of us to keep fighting. And I know she was a shining star of hope and of possibility for women and girls everywhere. Filmmaker Betsy West, who created the award-winning 2018 documentary RBG, shared a tribute with us.
I'm Betsy West, one of the directors of the documentary RBG. It was my honor and privilege to spend time hanging out with the notorious, or should I now say, the righteous RBG. And I'm thrilled now to be here to support Global Rights for Women, an organization that reflects Justice Ginsburg's mission in life. RBG understood that women have been marginalized, victimized, and treated as second-class citizens for around the world for over centuries. Here in the United States, it wasn't so long ago that a woman could be fired for being pregnant, couldn't get credit without her husband's permission, and could not bring rape charges if the rapist happened to be her husband. As a young lawyer working for the ACLU, Ginsburg had a radical idea that women should be freed from this kind of discrimination, that the U.S. Constitution should protect women as well as men. In the 1970s, she brought a series of gender rights cases before the Supreme Court that changed the laws and changed the world for American women. As a Supreme Court justice, she continued her work on behalf of human rights in whatever way she could, even when her voice was in the minority. In one case, her colleagues ruled that a woman who'd been paid much less than her male counterparts couldn't get back pay because she hadn't complained in time. RBG's dissent in that case prompted Congress to change the law to allow for retroactive pay for discrimination. Ginsburg saw the law as an instrument of change, and she saw herself as part of a chain of women who've been fighting for centuries. She often said that she stood on the shoulders of suffragist Susan B. Anthony, abolitionist Harriet Tubman, and attorney Belva Lockwood, the first woman allowed to argue before the Supreme Court. And now, here we are, standing on the shoulders of RBG. Global Rights for Women is part of an historic battle to continue the work of this righteous woman and many, many others who have fought so hard for us. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to support your work.
All right, I had to do it. As we honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg, let's all take a moment to recommit ourselves to her legacy of equal justice for all women, while I commit to trying to get out of this position with grace and dignity. Oh my goodness. All right. Because the next person speaking deserves all the grace and dignity I can muster. She is incredible. She is one of my idols. She is V, formerly Eve Ensler, a Tony Award-winning playwright, author of the Vagina Monologues, and someone who has also impacted the world with her amazing message of strength to survivors. Eve Ensler.
Hi, I'm V, formerly Eve Ensler, and I am thrilled to be here tonight to celebrate and honor and support this amazing organization, Global Rights for Women. I so deeply believe in you and your mission, the need to end violence against all women and girls across the planet. As a survivor of physical violence and sexual violence, I know personally the long-term devastating impacts. And I also know that 1 out of 3 women on this planet, which is 1 billion women, will experience rape, or battery in her lifetime. These statistics were off the charts before COVID-19 hit, but we know violence against women has escalated tenfold, and often the violence that is happening to women is happening behind closed doors, it's unreported, and it's happening in silence. The fight for the freedom, safety, cherishing, and honoring of women's bodies, for me, is no less than the fight for life itself. I stand with every woman, man, trans person, gay person, lesbian, non-binary person on this planet who is rising to dismantle patriarchy and end this violence. And I send you, my sisters and brothers at Global Rights, the deepest thanks for your incomparable work and all my love and appreciation.
How can you show your love and appreciation? Well, you can donate in two ways. One, you can give right from your phone by texting Global Rights to the number 41444. You will then receive a text link for donation options. Or you can click on the donate button right on the event homepage. You know, I'm so impressed by the generosity of everyone here today, standing in solidarity to end violence against women. We have made tremendous progress and we're moving towards our goal, but we aren't quite there yet. So donate, donate, donate. Do not let me down. Okay? We good? I feel like we are. Let's get to our next amazing guest, Imrana Jalal. Imrana works as chair of the World Bank's inspection panel. She's also a lawyer and founder of Fiji's women's rights movement. She literally wrote the book on Pacific women's rights.
I have spent 35 years of my life working on women's rights and gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is a stranglehold on our economic and social progress, let alone our human rights and our search for true equality. This has never been more true than it is now, when we are facing unprecedented hardship and women are bearing a large part of that hardship in a very gender-specific way with increased gender-based violence against them. For example, helplines in Singapore and Cyprus have registered a 30% increase in calls. Because I work at the World Bank, I now look more closely at the economic costs of violence, because it is an effective strategy to use with governments to show what violence against women cost our economies. In 2016, the UN estimated that the global cost of violence against women is $1.5 trillion, equivalent to approximately 2% of the GDP, global GDP, and about the size of the entire Canadian economy. In my country, Fiji, it costs a staggering 6.6% of GDP. In Vietnam, it's 1.14% of GDP. These amounts our countries can ill afford. Living in the United States in the last 2 years has, for me, amplified the importance of global women's alliances. Why now? Well, in the absence of leadership at the highest levels in many countries, mainly male leadership, I have to say, is that we, the Global Women's Alliance movement, have to step into the breach. We have to step into the lacuna of leadership, even if it is at the level of working together on very specific issues like gender-based violence. These alliances and solidarity between the US women's movement and, for example, the Asia-Pacific women's movement is an example of what we can do together. You know, I really would like to reclaim that wonderful, amazing 80s slogan, "Sisterhood is Global," and to place it within the context of COVID, of what is happening now, because I would like to emphasize the social responsibility of the US to the developing world, especially now. This is not a demand, but a plea. In the absence of leadership and social responsibility at senior levels in many countries, global rights for women's work has become even more critical. It is critical that it is empowered to bring what it knows to the developing world, to use GRW's tried and tested methods of change. For example, in using the law as an important human rights tool to help change the status of women in my country, in partnership with local women, and for women in other parts of the developing world. Thank you.
Imrana, oh my God, your work is so inspiring. And, you know, it's it's so interesting to hear all these different stories that we've heard today, because it really reminds us that everyone's life has changed since the beginning of this pandemic. And for most of those at risk for abuse, it can be terrifying. For those of you out there giving right now, thank you so much for showing survivors they are not alone and that they are not shamed or stigmatized, and that you want to help them through this. You know, a lot of donors used to go to fundraisers and have the fancy lunch and meet the people impacted by the organization. And generally, it was really great to make that connection. But during COVID-19, there's so many truly heroic people out there who are just giving from the heart, and we wanted to talk to some of them now. So again, back to the Zoom we go. Hi, it's Liz Winstead. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, good to see you.
It's good to see you. I'm calling from Global Rights for Women Now, and I just wanted to thank you for your support, first off. And you know, there's so many places to donate, right? You could, people hitting you up constantly, people telling you why they're the place. And you said Global Rights for Women Now is where I am seeing the most impact. So tell us what inspired you to give to Global Rights for Women.
I'm inspired to support Global Rights for Women because the work of Global Rights for Women is actually the reason why I wanted to go to law school in the first place. The work that the organization does is lifting up women and girls from around the world, and that mission could not be more important. And so when I learned about the mission while I was in undergrad, I knew I had to go to law school, and I knew that I had to get the tools to learn how to help women in that way. And their work inspires me every single day that I'm in school. And so I'll always be grateful for it.
Thank you so much, Rachel. You're amazing. We're going to talk to some other donors on Zoom. So let's bring up Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Liz. So good to see you.
Sean, so good to see you. Your wallpaper is fire. I just have to say right off the bat, I am so loving it. And Sean, you have to just tell folks of the many things that inspire you to donate to, you know, Global Rights for Women. You know, what is the most important thing about their work that like got you in the door and got you to say, this is where my dollars are going?
Well, let me start this way. What I recall hearing Maya Angelou speak about being raped when she was 7, and that when the rapist was found, murdered, she took responsibility for that because she spoke his name, and she stopped speaking for 5 years. So Global Rights for Women are ensuring that no 7-year-old girl or any woman should take responsibility for being brutalized. They are doing such important work to implement and craft laws. They're doing training. And for me, Global Rights for Women is doing work that really matters and changes lives.
You know, Sean, you couldn't have said it better. And I think reminding folks how often women take on so much responsibility for their own brutalization, and that Global Rights for Women is working to stop that is so crucial. Thank you, Sean, so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Take care.
Be like Sean. Sean understands fully that the work that Global Rights for Women does continues to be made possible by the generosity of individuals like Sean and individuals like you. And you, and you, and you. And just like all of the people we've talked to so far during this incredible day. You're here because you believe in a future where women and girls should live free of violence. Isn't that easy? Isn't that something that is worth your time and your money? And we are here to support the structures that help women around the globe. We are continuing to get closer to our $275,000 goal, and every dollar you give right now by texting Global Rights to 4144 gets us one step closer. But again, you do not want to let me down. I get angry, and that's not fun. Just remember, every day, Global Rights for Women hears more stories of need than they can respond to. What many people don't realize is that they can save a woman's life for the cost of your ticket today, or the cost of one sponsorship. Together, what we can accomplish during this event could impact millions of women and girls. For 18 months of ongoing and fully funded work, our costs were $80,000. Let me break that down. $5,000 covers the time to prepare a curriculum that helps people in the legal system hold a violent offender accountable for sexual assault. $1,000 covers a staff member's travel to Eastern Europe. $500 pays for law enforcement training on how to identify the most dangerous abusers. $200 gets an interpreter for the day. These are the things we can accomplish when we work together. And when we work together, that means we all contribute. And your generous donation, you can help ensure that people will be there to help survivors every day, and especially in emergencies. And with that said, the next person coming up is an incredible actress who has been giving back to help women and girls since I remember watching her perform for the very first time. We're delighted to announce an appearance by Marcia Gay Harden at our Global Rights for Women Now gathering. This Academy Award-winning actor has used her platform and career to advocate for women, playing parts that share the private pain and public triumphs of her characters. Please welcome Marcia Gay Harden.
Hi, I'm Marcia Gay Harden, and thank you for being with us. I can think of very little more important right now than supporting an organization that I absolutely love called Global Rights for Women. The work that they do is imperative, especially now, as more and more women are isolated due to COVID. Global Rights for Women builds international laws, relationships, and practices to ensure that women can live in a community where they are safe and not subject to violence. All over the world, we know in Turkey right now, and really in so many places in the world, women continue to suffer violence and abuse, and Global Rights for Women is changing that. So thank you, and please donate.
Hi, I'm Jesse COLIN Young.
And I'm Connie Young.
Global Rights for Women has an ambitious mission to end violence against women and girls around the world.
Intimate partner violence is the most prevalent violence in the world, and 600 million women live in countries without domestic abuse laws. Many women and girls still keep quiet about abuse in order to survive. COVID-19 lockdown isolates them and has made this situation worse in every country, including the United States.
Global Rights for Women works with international partners, driven by local community needs, to identify and change what is stopping women from finding safety and accessing the justice they deserve.
I had a housemate in college who, unknown to me before she moved in, was in an abusive relationship with her new boyfriend. And as one would expect, the violence spilled over into my life as we shared this home. I cannot tell you the complexities that puts a young, educated woman in that position. Although I tried to protect her, as a 20-year-old in the 1980s, I had no idea where to go or what to do for her, so eventually we parted ways. And honestly, I'm still haunted about what may have happened to her.
For women who have found shelter and legal support, the experience is life-changing. We need everyone, especially you, to take steps toward achieving a violence-free future for women and girls by donating to Global Rights for Women. Your support reaches across borders and saves lives. Here's a song I wrote for my sisters, all my sisters across the world, who are dealing with violence in their homes and in our communities.
This is a song for my sisters, just to let you know that I'm here. This is a song for resistors and everything we hold dear. A world where everyone's welcome and all our voices are heard. And though the darkness surrounds us, we feel the love that has bound us, and we won't take it anymore. You can't fake it anymore. It's time to even up the score. marching. It soothed my wounded soul. Your joy, your hope, your passion, your pink and perfect fashion. And though my heart was broken, I heard your words unspoken. We won't take it anymore. You can't fake it anymore. Time to even up the score. Don't mistake it. We won't take it anymore. This is a song for my sisters, just to let you know that I'm here. This is a song for resistors and everything we hold dear. A world where everyone's welcome and all our voices are heard. And though the darkness surrounds us, we feel a love that has found us, and we won't take it anymore. You can't fake it anymore. Time to even up the score. Don't mistake it. We won't take it anymore. Don't mistake it. We won't take it anymore.
Coming up now, I'm talking to an incredible human rights leader, someone we've all long admired for her advocacy and empathy to victims of sexual abuse. Judge ROSEMARIE AQUILINA sentenced Larry Nassar to 40 to 175 years for the U.S. gymnastics sex abuse case and is our keynote speaker today for the Global Rights for Women Now. Judge Aquilina began her legal career serving as the administrative assistant to State Senator John F. Kelly, partnered with Senator Kelly in a successful lobbying firm, and opened Aquilina Law Firm, PLC. Judge Aquilina is an adjunct professor at Thomas M. Cooley Law School and at Michigan State University School, and teaches courses including family law, advanced trial practice family law, legislative process, and defending battered women. Judge, welcome. Your style, and not only your bangs, I love the way that you bring your legal style. It's so different than so many other judges. Talk a little bit about why you have presenting in this way.
I believe that there's a story in every case, and that in order to make the right decision, you have to believe, you have to listen, you have to be patient. And I have been in front of so many judges in my practice who cut me off, who didn't want to listen, who didn't look at the evidence that I presented as a lawyer. And I made up my mind a long time ago as a lawyer that I would listen when I became a judge. That was always my goal. But also growing up, being a woman, I wasn't heard, I wasn't seen, I wasn't given the same opportunities, and I continued to say, yeah, well, if a man can do that or if a boy can do that, I can do it. And what I learned along the way was to not worry about consequence to me. I think a lot of elected officials, judges included, worry about, oh, I have to keep my constituency happy. It's about other things. For me, it's not about other things. I will always work. I can take on a different job. but I follow my gut. And I am very comfortable, very happy being a troublemaking misfit and not following what the other judges do. I do follow the law, but with listening and common sense, being willing to fight for what I believe in is right, because there's a lot of interpretation in the law, room for change, and it just takes one ruling, one decision from one judge, and I'm the judge who will make the change. I have been appealed. I don't always get it right, but I can tell you I try, and many times when I'm appealed, I am upheld. So I don't mind being the troublemaking misfit for justice, and I want everyone in front of me to know they had their day. I also have a judicial philosophy that healing is part of what judges should do, and no, I am not a therapist. But by allowing people to tell their story, to be who they are, to say you hurt me, or I'm sorry, it propels their healing. It moves justice forward. It gives confidence in our justice system into the community who elected me and who expects judges to be part of a system that makes the laws not just imposed on people, but make the laws just for everyone and makes our community safer. My philosophy overall is that compassionately, proportionately, equitably, I will follow the law, I will be the people's voice, and I don't care what happens to me. It's always about justice.
And I think that you as an example, like having that in the world gives other judges a guideline to follow, and also helps encourage folks to want to come forward, to believe that they are going to enter a justice system that will actually bring them justice. And I think that that's crucial.
Thank you. I've heard from judges, from people, from victims. I've even heard from some defendants from all over the world, and everybody has their opinion. And I hate to say there are a few judges who've said, you don't deserve to be a judge. What you did in the Nassar case was atrocious. But overall, many judges have said, I'm looking at what you've done, how you handled the case. I have attorneys who say, I am now asking my clients the question, what would you like me to know? And we're following what you've done. So just by being me, following my gut, doing what I always have done as a judge, I've been a judge now for 16 years in the civilian world and 20 years in the military, I was able, by one act that the world saw, to change it. And I'm really honored by that. But let me just tell you, I didn't think ahead about, oh, this is what I'm going to do because the world is watching. I thought ahead about, this is the case, how am I going to handle it? And I handled it like I do every case, every day, and have for 16 years. It just happened that this time the media was there and they were watching. And it was responsible journalism, and that's how the world was open to this situation, and that judges ought to listen, believe, and be able to talk to both sides.
And I love, in this particular case, in the Larry Nassar sentencing, your insistence that Nassar have to listen to all 156 women and their impact statements. Global Rights for Women also promotes listening to survivors as the best place to start when you're trying to get justice. So what do you think the long-term impact has been, from those gymnasts for speaking out and being able to tell their stories?
I know that not just the 156 sister survivors, and now there have been over 500 who've come forward, I know that they empowered each other, and it really did catapult their healing much faster and farther than had they not been able to face him. But I also know that globally, because I have heard from survivors in other cases and around the world, and women who didn't have a voice, they have contacted me and said, I felt like you were listening to me. I felt like you were speaking to me. When the girls lashed out at him, or you lashed out at him, I felt like I had a voice and was lashing out at my predator. And so I think globally what has happened is there's been far broader healing and voice than I could have ever imagined or thought about. And it's a good thing. And I think lives were saved that we don't even know about, because I've heard from victims, men and women, by the way, who've said, I sat, I listened, and I felt like you were talking to me, that there's help out there, that other people will listen to. Now I'm going to get help. I'm not going to commit suicide today. There were people who actually said, I just happened on this case, and I was going to commit suicide. But now I know I can speak out and I can help others. And I really believe that globally we are changing, not quick enough, but globally we are changing, partnering together for this voice, for this change, for this kind of healing.
And you know, I think that that is a goal that I think everybody wants. And I would love to close out with you with this. For somebody who is starting on this journey of advocacy, when it comes to making the world a safer place for women and girls, where would you tell someone to start? Where should everybody start in their advocacy?
Everybody should start by using their voice. Something may not happen to you, but we have all seen injustice. We have all been witness to someone who is weaker than us, who cannot speak out. If you do not speak out, you are part of the problem. Speak out. Help someone. Be the strong person. Be the voice for someone without a voice, whether it's your child, whether it's someone at the mall being yelled at by their child or some man. Intervene. Call 911. Don't be on the sidelines and silent. Be a cheerleader up front. Make sure that in everything you do, you are not just seated at the table, but you are the voice and you are the chandelier, the champion for others. When we all do that, there will be a safer, better, more equal world. If we don't do that, I shudder to think where we will end up.
Your work is rooted in getting justice with action and a voice. And you've talked about it so eloquently today. But, you know, with an organization like Global Rights for Women, and as we talk about global solidarity, talk about their work and the strength in numbers as we address violence against women globally.
Global Rights for Women gives voice to those who don't have one and strengthens the armor and the voice for those who do have a voice to continue in their pursuit regardless of whether or not they get knocked down. And everybody needs that support system. Global Rights for Women is not only that support system, but they are joined in the numbers, the volume, the voice, the protections, the values that we should honor for women. And they provide this safe space for women to use their voice, to know they matter, and to go forward with a positive life, a safe life, a happy life, and to say, that's what we want, and let's have more of that. And we not only have earned it as a human being, but we deserve equal treatment. We deserve voice. We deserve to be believed. We deserve to be heard. Global Rights for Women around the world saves lives.
That's right. And as long as we have to say it, Global Rights for Women is going to be there to enact it. And that is what is so incredible. Thank you so much. You are a champion and a hero and a scholar, and I'm living for your bangs.
Thank you so much for having me. Global Rights for Women, you are my heroes.
I think that Judge Aquilina needs an anthem. And guess what? I believe we're about to deliver one from Ruthie Foster, the singer-songwriter from Austin, Texas, who's a 3-time Grammy nominee, who's going to sing Phenomenal Women, a poem written by Maya Angelou, set to music. Here you go, Judge Aquilina. This one's for you.
Hey, everybody. This is Ruthie Foster coming to you from our living room instead of the stage today. And I'm grateful to do that. I am. Wanted to just say thank you to the Global Rights for Women and what you do in bringing hope and peace of mind and most of all justice for all of us phenomenal women. Thank you. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute, I built a suit, a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them that's me. I walk into a room just as cool as you please. And to a man, the fellas stand and they fall down on their knees. And then they swarm around me like a hive of honeybees. Oh, I say it's in the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing of my waist, the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. Yes, I'm a woman. Baby, that's me. It's in the arch of my back, the sun of my smile, the right of my breast, the grace of my style, my style. Yeah, yeah. Now you understand why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about, I have to talk real loud. But when you see me passing, it ought to make you proud. Whoa, it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palm of my hands, the need for my care. 'Cause I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. Yeah, I'm a woman. Baby, that's me. It's in the palm of my hands and the need for my care. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal woman. Baby, 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 that's me. That's me.
Oh my God, Ruthie, that gave me chills. I feel like everyone on the planet needs to put Phenomenal Woman on a loop, so whenever we need hope and uplift, we can just access that. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget that incredible performance for Global Rights for Women. Thank you so much, Ruthie, for sharing your talents today to end violence against women and girls. And we're gonna continue this force of nature with another force of nature, a force for women's rights and women's equality. As a medical doctor and health activist in Nigeria, she advocates against rape, female genital mutilation, and violence against women. Please welcome Dr. ELEANOR NWADINOBI.
The time is now. The time is right. The time is ripe in the context of the voices that are making the clarion call from every corner of the earth, be it the Me Too movement, be it the Time's Up movement, be it the Bring Back Our Girls movement, be it the Black Lives Matter movement. If we bring our amplified and harmonious voices together, that is an endorsement to the fact that now more than ever, we need a global treaty to bring an absolute end to violence against women and girls.
Don't you wish all doctors were like her? Why can't it be so? It is such a deep honor for Global Rights for Women to work together with Every Woman Treaty and Dr. NWADINOBI to pass a binding world treaty to end violence against women and girls. Stephanie Mercedes is a queer Argentinian-American, Washington, D.C. based artist who melts down weapons and turns them into musical instruments and public art installations. Her work creates something beautiful from acts of violence. We are honored by her participation in the art auction, and when you bid on her work, she will create a special commission just for you. Please be generous to all of our participating artists.
I'm Stephanie Mercedes. I'm an artist, and I take weapons and I melt them down and transform them into musical installations. And I believe that as a gay woman, everyone, regardless of their sexuality, of their gender expression, deserves to live without violence.
We're doing it. We are doing it. We are doing it. We are making close, not there yet, to our goal today. Thanks to your generosity, but you know what that means. We need to do more. And every single dollar is gonna get us there. And to inspire you to get into that wallet, get into those couch cushions, and get the money to us are some incredible people who we could literally have not done this without, because they are some of the founders of this incredible organization. They have passionately been with us, started the organization, served on the board, give, and I am so thrilled for you to be able to meet them. So first up, I am heading to Lynn. Lynn is our boss. Hi, Lynn.
Liz, I'm thrilled to be part of this amazing global gathering.
Isn't it incredible?
It's incredible.
I mean, the performances, the inspiration, the people, the information. I am so thrilled that I could navigate this incredible afternoon. So Lynn, I mean, your brilliant brain was part of the reason we are here today. Talk to us about your inspiration for starting this organization and why you continue to be such a strong part of it.
We believe that women and girls have the right to live free from violence. And we make a difference by helping our international partners change the laws and systems in their countries. And if the laws or systems are changed in a country, then that changes those for every woman and girl in the entire country. And there's just so much to do, Liz. There's such an incredible worldwide need. So I hope that all of you watching who are able to give during this event.
Thank you so much, Lynn. And I just want to say to you, you know, it takes fortitude, and you have the RBG strength. You're the one who is out there saying, this seems like a massive undertaking, but you want to know what? I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to go in. So thank you, Lynn, so much for being so incredible.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Going from Lynn, and now we got Tim, another founder. Yo, Tim, hi.
Hey, Liz. Great to be with you.
I am so excited you are here. I have to say, anytime I see a dude showing up for women, I'm like, thank you for understanding that women's rights are human rights. And would you please explain to everybody out there how you got to that fundamental knowledge?
Yeah, well, it's really easy. I've been working in the field of sexual reproductive health and rights all around the world for the past 30 years. And I've worked with NGOs, big, medium, small, startups, established ones. And I know a good NGO when I see one, and this is one. This NGO works. This business model works. The mission works. It's laser focused. And to top it off, it's run by my sister. So it's got to be good.
Yeah. And I like that your sister's like, guess what, sir? You are going to get involved and you're going to do it proud. And I know I feel that way too. And I feel like it should be a no-brainer that prioritizing ending violence against women and girls globally should be at the top of mind of everyone's list. And I'm so thrilled that you have said this is where I'm hanging my wallet, my time, my dollars, and my dope ass hat. So, Tim, thank you so much. You are a champion, and we thank you so much.
Glad to be with you. Congratulations, and everybody give.
Give. Give it a give. I know, I'm hitting him hard. I mean, I did the Ruth Bader Ginsburg plank. What more do people want from me? I'm out here, I'm doing it, I'm trying. I am trying, people. Give it a give. Tim, thank you, and thanks for all you do.
Go Liz, go GRW.
Thank you, Tim, for your incredible generosity. And now I'm about to introduce you to someone who knows so much about generosity and so much about fighting violence against women and girls. MARILYN Carlson Nelson is one of the most successful businesswomen in the world, is CEO of CARLSON Companies and a leader in combating human trafficking. CARLSON Companies has also been a generous supporter of global rights for women since 2015. MARILYN has paved the way in the travel industry as a leader of fighting human trafficking, making a global impact in addressing trafficking and child sex tourism. The lives of so many are absolutely changed for the better because of her commitment to stopping this exploitation and violence against women and girls. Welcome, MARILYN Carlson Nelson.
Hello, everyone. I'm MARILYN Carlson Nelson. I am the retired CEO of CARLSON, and I'm the treasurer of the Carlson Family Foundation. We all know that COVID-19 has resulted in pain and loss across the world. Most of us are appalled when we see the daily news reports telling stories of how the lockdown has resulted in a surge of violence against women and girls. Intimate partner violence was the most prevalent violence in the entire world before the pandemic, but now with joblessness, homelessness, and stress-related mental illness, women and girls of all ages, little girls and adults, are more vulnerable than ever before. The statistics are appalling. 600 million women live in countries that don't even have domestic abuse laws. So if you are like me, or if you lead a company like ours, you ask yourself, what can we do? How can we help? Well, there is something we can do, something you and I can do. We can continue to support global rights for women. This is a powerful organization that takes down barriers, changes laws and policies that stop women from finding safety and accessing justice. This is not a Band-Aid approach. This organization brings about real, lasting change. At CARLSON, through our global business and through our family foundation, we have been supporting global rights for women since 2015. Now, in this challenging time, we need to broaden that base. We need everyone, especially you, to join us and take steps toward achieving a violence-free future for women and girls by donating to Global Rights for Women.
Thank you all so much for your generosity here today. It is my great honor now to welcome Secretary Hillary Clinton to say a few words on our behalf. Hillary Clinton stood before, the first time I saw her, she stood before a crowd of tens of thousands of women at the Fourth World Conference on Women in Beijing, China at the United Nations, and said women's rights are human rights. And I believe that's what launched the global women's human rights movement. Thank you, Secretary Clinton, for being with us here today.
Thank you, Cheryl, for that kind introduction. and for your leadership as Executive Director of Global Rights for Women. As Cheryl reminded us, 25 years ago this fall, representatives from 189 nations came together in Beijing to say with one voice that human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights. We've made a lot of progress since then, but expanding the rights, opportunities, and full participation of women remains the great unfinished business of the 21st century. That's why I'm so grateful to Global Rights for Women. The work you're doing has always been important, and it's even more urgent now. In the middle of a pandemic that's exacerbating some of the biggest challenges facing women and girls around the world, we've seen a dramatic spike in intimate partner violence over these last several months. And history warns us that a global health and economic crisis of this magnitude can create pressure to push women's concerns to the back burner. We can't let that happen. So I hope everyone watching today will be a part of the solution by learning more about how violence against women affects all of us, by speaking out, and by supporting Global Rights for Women. To donate, text Global Rights to 41444 or visit globalrightsforwomen.org. Thank you for all you do, and let's keep moving forward.
We can make the world a better place, and we can do it now. Fact, 1 in 3 women will experience violence over the course of her lifetime. Fact, COVID-19 has intensified the situation. Fact, every day, 139 women are murdered by their intimate partners or a male relative. Fact, every day, over 100 women are killed by people they know. These are facts that we would like to erase. And we know that when we identify the risk factors, we can get women out of harm's way. And you need to help us do that. It doesn't take much to start empowering local organizations to save women's lives. And with your help in reaching our goal of $275,000 today, what we can impact is millions of women and girls. Global Rights for Women works with communities to provide real solutions and create real change for serving women and girls who are at risk. Please consider your donation today. Help us make that goal. Hell, help us surpass that goal. We're talking about saving the lives of women and girls. And a situation that we're in today, when women and girls are often not talked about and marginalized and forgotten, this is going to be your most important donation of 2020. When we all join together, we can all make a difference and save lives. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for supporting us. It has been an honor. You are all champions. Let's do this for women and girls. Thank you.
Everyone, I'm Lokun Tan. I'm the co-chair for Baker McKenzie's APAC Diversity and Inclusion Committee. I really hope you have all enjoyed listening to the many inspirational speakers at the event this morning. Your presence here matters a lot because not only are you aware, but you want to learn to contribute towards change. Our pro bono partnership with Global Rights for Women has attracted over 400 Baker McKenzie employees and our many recruited clients from all over the world, all of whom have contributed their time to assess laws and systems so as to allow countries to compare and improve their ecosystems of responses to domestic violence. The ultimate result can only be good. It will be nothing less than saved lives for women and girls. So today, if you have been inspired, as I have, and moved by the stories that were shared, we also have an additional request. If you are keen to contribute your time or your expertise, or to make a financial contribution to Global Rights for Women, the time to act is now. Your volunteerism or financial support will be reaching across the borders to save lives, and we hope that you will join us in taking steps to achieve this goal of a violence-free future for women and girls. You can reach the donation page through the invite that we have sent you for this occasion, or visit www.globalrightsforwomen.org for more information on how to contribute towards their wonderful projects. So thank you very much.